Good morning, everyone. I'm Angie. Welcome to my channel. And today I'll be working with Tarot and Oracle pretty much like every time I upload on this channel. Yeah, I'm trying some new things out. Quick life update. I'm currently jobless, so I have a lot more time for Tarot and Oracle, and I will get on the job hunt eventually. But honestly, this last month was supposed to be like my downtime month, but issues with my dad's health and then family coming in. It's just been a crazy couple of weeks. I really haven't had a moment to just sit, reflect, and be with the cards and see what they have to say. So that's what we're doing right now. So we have the Oracle d'Or. So it is, let me just grab the box out for you. This is the Oracle d'Or. This stands for Odilon Redon, who is a French artist. And oh, there's a little right up there. This is a co-creation by Melissa Witherspoon, who is the creator of the Lonely Dreamer Tarot, and Tora Matthews. So Tora also wrote the large companion guidebook, like it is a big book. And I highly recommend, if you are able to get a copy of this, that you also get a copy of the companion book if it's still available, because it's got a lot of history and just references, and it was very insightful for me as I went through this Oracle deck. Now I'm pairing it with the Terra Volatile because, as I hope you'll see later, the imagery tends to go really well, at least for me. So because it's been a while, I'm going to free flow read today, and let's see what comes up. So I tend to knock on my deck 3 times, and then I blow on all sides to cleanse it. And because this is a deck with a more rose petal finish, I try not to riffle shuffle it. But usually what I do is I will pull an oracle card. If I don't have anything specific that I'm thinking of going to tarot for, I'll just pull an oracle card and let the oracle card tell me where to focus my reading. So here we have introspection. I don't know if you can clearly see that, but there's a lot of foiling, gold foiling as well. So we have introspection, and then I could just off of this see what I need to sort of think more about today or the next couple of days, or maybe something that I've been pushing back but I need to bring to the forefront of my mind and deal with. Or I could go to the guidebook. So there is a smaller guidebook that is included with the deck if you don't get the companion book. And it says, basically it's a description, I think, of the artwork. So gazing inwards, meditation and personal insight, or more keywords. Acceptance, being in a dream state. And then the shadow would be a withdrawal from reality. And then a write-up, introspection refers to the examination or observation of one's own mental and emotional processes, but our interior landscape shifts according to our own biases, and as such, problems can emerge. We tend to fixate on our problems and ask ourselves why, which puts us into a state of victimhood. Why do I feel this way? Why is this happening to me? People who ask what rather than why seem to avoid blame and find positive actions that may better assist them in a situation. What do I feel about this situation? What can I do? When this card appears to you, close your eyes and be at peace with your situation. Practice empathy towards yourself, drift toward contemplation, and be unafraid to let go of your sense of self. So the thing that has popped out to me the most from this write-up is the asking myself, why is this happening to me, and being in that state of victimhood. Now, please don't get me wrong. I think that asking yourself why something has happened is actually very good. It does not mean that you're feeling sorry for yourself. And honestly, it's okay to feel sorry for yourself. It's fine. But I do want to get from why to how can I do something to help the situation. So before I go into tarot, I have a feeling I know what area of my life needs looking at with that context. Let's actually see. Now my hands are pretty small, so I still have to like break apart the deck to riffle shuffle. So it's never really like, I love how other tarot readers can just riffle shuffle expertly, and I love it so much. but I'm not great at it. So anyway, let's see. What area? Now I ask questions. What area do I need to focus on as far as introspection? Ooh, Five of Pentacles immediately. I mean, when we were talking about victimhood, this card can represent that. Because you're out in the cold, it doesn't mean that you're imagining what's happening to you. It is happening to you, but you fail to see that there is a way out or there is support. And that's the issue, right? Like there is support. But if you decide that you're more comfortable in the cold and so focused on woe is me, you won't be able to see that support. So I do feel like the area of my life that needs introspection is the one that I was initially thinking of. So I will be open about that. My dad is going through a pretty serious health crisis, and there were a lot of operations done already, but we went for our checkup a week ago, and it turns out that it's not the end of the road still. We were hoping for good news, so it just means that there's another round that we need to go through, another stage. And I know it's really disappointing for him because you want good news. And when you go into an appointment and you don't get good news, it's like after fighting this for almost a year, there's something else we need to tackle. Like I can see it on his face, you know? And also, I will never know what it's like in his shoes, but as the person that is one of the caregivers or one of the primary caregivers in a sense, because everybody's pitching in, but I do get to see him the most. So it's just hard. It's also something that you're kind of like, or I'm kind of like, I wish I had more support from other people versus, I do have support, but not from people that I know should be supportive. So I'm trying to be vague, but trying to be protective as well, and being as honest and authentic as I can. So that's the situation that needs introspection. But I think what I want to ask first is, how is this showing up in the shadow? Like, yes, there's victimhood. Yes, I feel a little woe is me. I do, like, please don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, I feel the worst for my dad. He's going through this. But the people around the loved one that's suffering also have to deal with things. So how is this showing up for me in the shadow? Three of Swords, heartbreak. But remember, swords is the suit of the mind and thoughts and processes. And it feels like I'm so overwhelmed that I can't even think straight, because it is truly, truly overwhelming. So this is how it's showing up in the shadow. Whereas I know I have the capacity and the ability to assess a situation and say, okay, this is what needs to be done. Let's focus on what we can do. Because I'm wallowing in this space, like there's nothing going on mentally because it's just too much. So I feel stuck. I really feel stuck. And I love this imagery of like, yes, the swords are there, but there are also these brambles that are kind of like catching this figure's dress or robe. And it does feel like it feels like you're in quicksand, and you're trying to get your bearings, but you just can't. So the question I was going to ask is, what can I do to make the situation better? And this is the Six of Wands, but let me actually pull out another card. I feel called to do that. Six of Wands and the Emperor. Interesting. Let's put this up front and center. Six of Wands and the Emperor. The Six of Wands is the card of triumph. Now, if I'm looking at this card in the context of what I had with the Five of Pentacles and the Three of Swords, how can I assist the situation? First of all, I think how I speak about the situation is really crucial. If I am having this sort of negative self-talk, and I don't mean to go the other way and be like, everything is fine, there is going to be complete healing in this, like, I'm not saying that. But if I can embrace something more balanced and more proactive, for example, yes, things look tough right now, but it's not as bad of news as we were expecting. There are things that we can do, and there is a lot of support, as well as he's in really good hands with his doctors. So that's one way that I could look at that. Because if I put myself in the mindset of, this is overwhelming, there's nothing that can be done, well, then it's like you don't try, then you already fail. You already quit before you even began. And there is no room for any sort of possibility of triumph with that attitude. So I'm here, I'm being realistic, but I can catch myself when I am speaking in this energy and remind myself to speak in this energy. Then we also have the Emperor. I can take control of what I can control. I cannot control everything as much as I would like that. I can't. And it's too big a burden to bear as well. If you think that you can control everyone around you, dictate their actions, and you think you know the best way, and let's do this now, let's do this tomorrow, like that's not my job. I can only control what I can control, and I need to remember that I'm not the boss of anyone else, and this is a family dynamic. This is not a dictatorship. Being the eldest in an Asian family, you tend to take the lead on things, and not just because it's a personality trait, but it's because of culture and what's expected of you. So I have to remind myself I'm only the emperor to myself. I will affect what I can affect. And also, a good reminder is the emperor, in its light, does not dictate. This is an archetype that influences. And this is an archetype that earns respect and then uses their influence to bring about outcomes. But in its shadow is where it dictates and overwhelms people. And I don't want to do that. So I have 2 pieces of homework for myself. Well, actually 3. The first piece of homework I have for myself is to recognize and acknowledge when I am operating in this energy. And honestly, I have been operating in this energy for the last couple of days. And then the second and third piece of homework is to speak to myself more fairly so that there is a shot at this. And to remember, third piece of homework, I'm not in control of everyone, and I shouldn't be. God, that would be terrifying. But I am in control of myself and my actions. So that is what needs to be examined today. So that's it for today. Thank you for sticking around. And as always, take care. Bye.